For number 1, what you want to do is first solve for the value of t and then multiply that answer by 6. So we'll begin by solving 3t minus 7 equal to 5t. So this 3t, because it has a variable, stays on the left side. This negative 7, let's move it so it becomes a positive 7 on the right side. And this 5t moves over here, becomes negative 5t. And so 3t minus 5t is negative 2t. And here we have 7. And now, to solve for the value of t, we just need to divide by negative 2 on both sides. So we get this fraction, negative 7 over 2 is the value of t. And now to find 6 times t, we just need to do 6 times the value, which is negative 7 over 2. So we can multiply the top. 6 times negative 7 is negative 42. Divide by the bottom, so negative 42 divided by 2 is going to be negative 21, which will be answer choice C. So when you read directly proportional, you know we're talking about proportions here. So let's set up two fractions and put them equal to each other. So it says y is 2, so I'm going to put 2 on the top, and x is 3. What is the value of y when x is equal to 9? And because we put x on the bottom this time, let's put the 9 on the bottom as well. So as you can see, what we have is on the top is y's and on the bottom is x's. You could have done it the other way around too, and that will still give you the same answer. So we want the value of y. And now what we want to do is cross multiply. 3 times y is 3y. 2 times 9 is equal to 18. And now to solve, divide by 3 on both sides, we get y is equal to 6. Letter B. For number 3, it's asking us for the equation of this line. So when you have a graph, one of the first things you can look at is what's the y-intercept. So here the y-intercept is at 0. So letter A, the y-intercept is negative 3, so that needs to go away. Letter B is positive 3, so that is also gone. You see C and D does not have a plus or minus anything, so the y-intercept is going to be 0. What else do we know? We know that the coordinate of C is going to be 6, 9. So now let's find the slope. Should the slope be 2 over 3 or 3 over 2? So slope is going to be rise over run. So we know that up and down, which is the y value, that will be 9. And left and right, which is the x value, is going to be 6. So rise 9 over 6. Simplify this fraction by dividing both top and bottom by 3. We get 9 divided by 3 is 3, and 6 divided by 3 is 2. So the slope is going to be 3 over 2, which is letter D. Number 4 is telling you that you have a total of 24x minus 16 trees. So that sounds weird because when you talk about how many trees, why is there a variable x in there? But the trick of this is treat it like regular numbers. And then we know that each row has 3x minus 2. So that means, for example, one row will be 3x minus 2. Another row will be 3x minus 2. So if, for example, we only have 2 rows, wouldn't our total just be 3x plus 3x, which is 6x, negative 2 minus negative 2, negative 2 minus 2 is negative 4. So 2 rows will have this. And so basically you're just asking yourself, how many rows of 3x minus 2 do I need to get to 24x minus 16? Well, to get from 3x to 24x, we just need to multiply by 8. And same with negative 2. To get to negative 16, we also need to just multiply by 8. So the letter is D. So we just need 8 rows of 3x minus 2. So let's write this out to help you see it better. So let's have 3 rows of 3x minus 2. So 3x minus 2, 3x minus 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we combine like terms. Let's put all the x terms together. So here we have 8 times 3, which is the 24x, and then the constant term. So we have 8 times negative 2, which is give you the negative 16. So letter D. For number 5, it's asking us how many sandwiches were ordered. So let's look at what information we have. Okay, so we know we're talking about two things. We're talking about soups and sandwiches. So let's let x be sandwiches, and that's what we want to solve for. And y will be the number of soups that were ordered. So the first sentence, a group of 18 people ordered soup and sandwiches for lunch. So each person either had one soup or one sandwich. So what that tells you is how many sandwiches plus how many soups is equal to 18, because 18 people came in. Everybody either got a sandwich, so they will be part of the x, or got a soup, so they will be part of the y. Okay, and our next sentence tells us that the sandwiches are $7.75. So $7.75 multiplied by how many sandwiches were ordered plus $4.50 multiplied by how many soups were ordered, so y, is equal to a total of $113.50. That's what the 18 people spent in total. So now here we have a system of two equations that we want to find the value of x. So first thing that you want to do is, and what I'm showing here is using Cramer's rule, and so you can look up that video about Cramer's rule on my YouTube channel. So I go set up the coefficient matrix, so there's no values in front, so I go put a 1, so 1 and 1 is 7.75 and 450. First, what we're going to do is we're going to cross multiply starting from the top left corner. So 1 times 4.5 is going to be 4.5. Then 7.75 times 1 is going to be 7.75. And then we're going to change the sign, so that'll become a minus. And so this is going to equal to negative 3.25. Next, we are going to solve for x. And so, to set that up, I'm going to replace the x, which is going to be on the left side, with 18 and 113.5. And the y part is going to be the same, so that's a 1 and that's a 4.5. And now let's cross multiply. 18 times 4.5 is going to give you 81, and 113.5 times 1 is going to give you 113.5. And I'm going to change the sign, so positive is going to change to negative. And so 81 minus 113.5 gives you negative 32.5. And now to get the x value, we're just going to take that result divided by negative 3.25, gives you x is equal to 10. So D is the answer. Number 6 is asking which of the following equations have 1 and negative 3 as a solution. So that's saying that x is equal to 1 and x is equal to negative 3. So that's what we want to find. So let's factor each answer choice and see what we get. So from this one, to factor this, well, we need to multiply to get to 3. So 1 times 3 is 3. And then to get to the negative 2 in the middle, so the bigger number needs to be negative. So negative on the 3. Negative 3 plus 1 is negative 2. So that means for this answer choice, we get x plus 1 and x minus 3 equal to 0 as the factors, which tells you that x is equal to negative 1 and x equals to positive 3, which is not what we want. Now let's try answer choice B. So to get 3, we know we need to do 1 times 3. And then we're trying to get a positive 2 this time. So that means the bigger number, 3, needs to be positive. Well, to get to 2, we need to go 3 minus 1. That's 2, because 3 plus 1 will give you 4. So that means the factors are going to be x minus 1 and x plus 3 equal to 0, which tells you that the answers are x equal to positive 1 and x equal to negative 3, which is exactly what we wanted. For number 7, it's asking for the y-intercept. So y-intercept, that tells us that x is equal to 0. And we know that because, for example, any point on the y-axis, let's say this point over here, this point, the coordinates are going to be 0, 2. This point over here will be 0, negative 3. So no matter where you go on the y-axis, x is always equal to 0. So we're going to use that to make this very simple. So wherever I see x, I'm going to put in 0. 0 plus 3 is 3. 0 minus 4 is negative 4. And then we simply multiply. 2 times 3 is 6. 6 times negative 4 is going to be negative 24. And the answer is letter A. For number 8, it's asking us to factor x to the 4th minus 1. So whenever you see two terms here, we have two terms, first term and second term, and in between is a minus sign. Look for difference of two squares. The square root of x to the 4th is x squared. The square root of 1 is 1, because 1 times 1 is 1, and x squared times x squared is x to the 4th. So that means that the factors are going to be x squared plus 1 and x squared minus 1. But here again, this one has a difference of two squares. So the square root of x squared is just going to be x, and the square root of 1 is going to be 1. So this will be x plus 1 and x minus 1. And we're just going to copy down the x squared plus 1 here. And so that will be answer choice A. For number 9, whenever you have an exponent outside of the parentheses, we need to multiply the exponents. So for the base 3, we get 1 times 3, which is 3. For base x, 2 times 3, which is 6. And for the base y, 3 times 3, which is 9. So that already eliminates the answer choices A and C. But be very careful here. 3 to the 3rd power, a lot of students think that just means 3 times 3, and they will pick answer choice B. But no, 3 to the 3rd power actually means 3 times 3 times 3. We have 3 3's multiplied together. So 3 times 3 is 9, times another 3 is 27. Letter D.